This is probably the most honest thing I've let out in over a year. I'm not here to beg for pity, to ask for forgiveness, or to paint myself as a victim. I'm writing this because the weight of what I've done has been crushing me slowly, like a hand tightening around my throat day after day. My name isn't important. Just know I'm a 39-year-old woman who tore her own life apart with her own hands. I cheated on my husband. I lost everything. And I earned every consequence that followed. For a long time, I thought I had a perfectly ordinary life. I married young at 24 to a man who genuinely loved me. He was the steady choice, responsible, grounded, kind. A year into our marriage, we had our daughter, Emily. She's 17 now, beautiful, intelligent, sharp-tongued like her father, but with a goodness in her that's pure and unshakable. She has always been good. I wore my roles like a uniform: wife, mother, career woman. I worked in marketing, climbing slowly, step by step, until I landed a position at a regional firm under a demanding but brilliant boss named Mark. He was older by 10 years, self-assured, charismatic, ambitious. Everything that reminded me of the life I had quietly set aside when I got married young. It didn't begin as an affair. At least that's what I told myself. It started with coffee breaks that stretched longer than they should, with laughter that felt too familiar, with shared gripes about work and life, with conversations that drifted into confessions about our spouses. He made me feel seen again, wanted, not as a wife, not as a mother, but simply as me. And I let that feeling take root. The first kiss happened after a company dinner. We were in the elevator, and when the doors closed, he leaned in. I didn't stop him. I didn't pull away. That kiss carried us into a hotel room. That room became the first of several, 3 business trips that blurred into nights I could never take back. By the time I realized how far I'd gone, I was living 2 separate lives. At home, I was still the wife who kissed her husband on the cheek. Still the mom who asked Emily about her day, who sat with her over college applications. But under it all, every smile, every word was a lie. I justified it in the quiet of my mind. I told myself I was unfulfilled, that my husband no longer looked at me the way he once had, that after years of giving to everyone else, I deserved a little happiness for myself. But the truth was simple. It was selfishness dressed up as a story I could live with. It was Emily who found out. That part still makes my chest ache like it's being crushed. She borrowed my iPad one afternoon when her laptop died. I had left my email open. Mark and I had been careless. She saw the messages, flirtatious, explicit, but worst of all, full of the kind of intimacy that should never exist outside a marriage. She read them. All of them. She didn't confront me. She didn't cry in front of me. She went straight to her father. That night, the house was silent, so silent it rang in my ears. My husband said nothing through dinner. Emily didn't look at me once. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't yet know the bomb had already gone off. After she went upstairs, he asked me plainly if I was having an affair. I couldn't lie. The moment I saw his face, the weight of what I had done settled over me completely. I nodded. I said yes in a voice that didn't even sound like mine. His expression didn't break. He just stood, walked into the garage and sat there for over an hour. 2 weeks later, he filed for divorce. He packed the guest room furniture and moved into a friend's apartment while looking for a place of his own. No shouting. No insults. Just a quiet leaving that felt heavier than any screaming could have been. Emily didn't speak to me for days. And when she finally did, her words came out like a storm that had been building for years. She called me names I'll never forget. Told me I had destroyed her life. That I had broken her father. That I was disgusting. I tried to explain. Tried to say I hadn't meant for it to happen, that it spiraled out of control, but there's no sentence in the world that can make betrayal sound less like betrayal. And then, somehow she stayed. She didn't move in with her dad. She said she didn't want to make things harder than they already were. She tried to live in both worlds. For a while I thought maybe we could salvage something. I leaned on her more than I should have. She became my comfort, my only lifeline. I cried to her when I should have been shielding her. I let her console me when I was the one who had caused the damage. She told me she forgave me, that everyone makes mistakes, that she didn't want to lose me too. I believed her. I thought that meant I still had her. I was wrong. Slowly, she started spending more time at her dad's. First weekends. Then a few weeknights. Before long it was most of the week. She said it was quieter there, that it helped her focus on school. I didn't fight her. I told myself it was temporary. But then she started answering my texts later, calling me Lori instead of Mom when she was upset. Her voice grew distant. It took months for me to realize she was letting go. My ex-husband, despite his pain, rebuilt himself piece by piece. He got fit. Took up hiking. Enrolled in a cooking class. Picked up photography again. His laughter returned, slowly at first, then easily. Social media showed me the life they were building without me. Camping trips, dinners, candid moments in the kitchen. At first, it felt like a fresh wound each time I saw them together, smiling. But deep down, I knew it was better this way. She was healing with him in ways she couldn't with me. I still see her. We meet for lunch sometimes. She sends a holiday text. But it's not the same. I'm her mother in name only now. The version of me who had her heart is gone, replaced by the woman who traded her family for a handful of fleeting moments. Mark moved on quickly. He was never going to leave his wife. I was a distraction, a thrill, a midlife detour for him. The moment my life became complicated, he pulled away. No husband, no lover, and only half a daughter left. I downsized to a smaller apartment, sold half my furniture, bought a cat, went back to therapy. Every day I try to piece together what's left of the woman I once was, the woman who had a good life and destroyed it for something that burned bright and burned out just as fast. But I know I'll never get her back. The worst pain isn't the loneliness. It isn't even the guilt. It's in the little moments, walking past my daughter's empty room, grocery shopping alone, seeing a photograph of my ex laughing with her in a moment I'll never be invited into. It's realizing the two people I hurt most have found happiness in the space I destroyed, and I have no place in it. Emily's heading to college soon. She chose a school near her dad. She says it's for the program. I know better. I tell her I'm proud and I mean it, but the sting is still there, buried under my smile. I broke something that can't be fixed. Cheating doesn't just destroy trust. It destroys people. It rewrites the story your loved ones thought they were living and turns it into something unrecognizable. It burns the house down and leaves the ground too scorched for anything good to grow for a very long time. If you're unhappy, speak. If you're lost, reach out. If you're numb, fight to feel again. But don't lie. Don't betray. Don't do what I did. Because even if someone finds it in themselves to forgive you, they'll never forget. And neither